Hi, I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Andrew Moran, Sarah Calgill, Mark Angelides, and Jeff Charles. And this is the Conservative Five, Liberty Nation's online TV news program. President Joe Biden promised us a long, cold, dark winter. And guess what? He's delivering. Crude prices are creeping up again. Gas prices have risen for 2 straight weeks. Electricity costs have climbed about 15% over the last year. Ooh, I feel a chill just talking about it. With old man winter about to make his triumphant return, how are folks going to survive? Will folks be burning the Christmas tree this year to stay warm? Andrew, I know you've been following the latest on this OPEC Plus move. Give us the skinny.
Well, I think on Christmas Eve, we're all going to be singing Violent tonight when it comes to our energy bills. But really, I mean, I don't know.
No, wait, this is Joe Biden's America. We're supposed to be singing Kumbaya.
But I mean, I don't know where to begin. I mean, all I can say are two things. One is that let's hope global warming happens this winter. And two, we should all just give each other lumps of coal because they're $200 to $400 a ton. But there's just so much happening right now in the energy world. I won't even dive into OPEC because I'm sure Mark is going to dive into that, provide us with all the latest news occurring in that area. But you recently had a report confirming 20 million households were behind the utility bills. You had another report saying home heating costs will rise about 30% this winter. You had New York and New England utilities already warning that natural gas bills could soar as much as 38%. On the price front, you already have crude oil prices rising again. You have a gallon of gasoline hitting an average of $4 again, $4 a gallon. Diesel's touching $5. I mean, overall, it's a bleak situation. Really, the only positive that's occurring right now is the natural gas industry, because right now the industry is producing about 100 billion cubic feet a day, which is all-time high. But even that has issues too, because Europe is demanding more LNG, and U.S. is trying to fulfill that need. So right now, the U.S. is trying to satisfy both foreign demand and domestic demand. So again, you really need to hope that global warming happens so that temperatures are not going to be like what they were this past winter.
Ugh, Mark.
Yeah, it seems that this whole situation could have been avoided if Joe Biden finally pivots to what his ultimate state will be, which is an America First president.
Logic.
What do you think? No, America First president, I reckon. Because what else is he going to do? He's been to Saudi Arabia, cap in hand, begging.
Oh, that worked. That worked.
Oh, well, here's the thing, right? There's a whole list of things that didn't work. He went to Saudi Arabia. It didn't work. He asked OPEC or OPEC Plus. It didn't work. Iran is he going to drop sanctions on Iran to get their deal in? Or is he going to go to Venezuela, which is a corrupt, despotic regime? And he's going to get rid of all the sanctions that were morally applied just so he can get more oil into the country, when really Andrew knows the solution to this. It's what Andrew's been saying for more than a year about this whole gas supply. Drill, baby, drill. He just needs to drop the ideology, start focusing on America rather than globalist aims, because that's all it is. These are internationalist aims to reduce the use of fossil fuels. And just put together a whole panoply of options rather than just it must be green. Do it all until you can make a clean transition.
But Sarah, Mark, my 9,000 leases, 9,000 leases.
Which, as everybody knows, thanks to your amazing columns on libertynation.com, Andrew, this 9,000 leases thing, it's a myth. It's a nonsense that he knows full well. Most of them will be sued to extinction before they ever put a foot on the ground. No, that will be backed up by the Biden administration, these lawsuits. Or it takes several years to explore these things. Needs to pull the cap, needs to be an America First president and deal with the issues at home before dealing with the issues abroad.
But Sarah, Mark said he needs to drop the ideology. I mean, what are the chances of that? He swings whichever way the progressive swings.
I think that sort of depends on if he's serious about running again or if he's not serious about running again. But
he says he is.
Yeah, he says he hasn't decided. Then he says he is. I mean, who knows what he's going to do? But I can tell you this: when gas prices go up 60 cents overnight in the heartland and in Midwest, and you're looking at a 2-month wait to fill your propane tank because people just can't get it, and winter's coming, this is a horrible time for this to be going on. If the Democrats want to win in November, it's bad here. And usually it's not so bad here. Usually it's more tragic on the east and west coast. But here, we're getting hammered in the Midwest.
Jeff, it's interesting. It's interesting that you point out the Midwest, but do you think that well, let's face it, the gas prices are going to rise, even though he's hitting up the strategic oil reserve as we approach November 8th. I mean, luckily for them, I guess the election is on the 8th and not the 16th, because by then, they have to run. They were supposed to stop the strategic oil reserve by October 31st, but now they're extending it. So, how does this affect the politics of what's going to happen November 8th, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to help them. I mean, they were trying to boast about the gas prices going down a little bit. Now they're going to go back up. And America knows that we're not out of this situation yet. And they know that the Biden administration is not doing anything about it. Like when they're asked to handle this whole energy issue, they basically say the same thing that they said about the migrant crisis. Let's not and say we did. So this administration doesn't want to do anything about this because they want to push us more towards green energy. They tell you that themselves. What did Democrats do when this whole thing with Ukraine and Russia jumped off and we were dealing with energy issues? They said, oh, the solution is to move towards electric vehicles. Get yourself a Tesla. Let's go all electric, knowing that it will take decades to get to the point to where most of us are using those vehicles. And a sensible solution that even a 10-year-old could figure out is, okay, so while we're moving towards that, let's drill, baby, drill until we get to the point to where we can get off of fossil fuels. They don't want to do that. That's why Biden is giving these smoke screens, because he doesn't want to do anything about it. He wants us to feel the pain. And that's my personal opinion. I think the Democrats want us to feel the pain so that we will support their green energy agenda.
All right, Mark, this is a self-inflicted wound. Let's face it. The fact that we're having this much of a mess with our energy is a choice. We've made the choice as a country to put everything else, or the climate, or whatever they want to currently call it, first before the needs of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just this country, though. It's all these Western countries across the world.
Well, Europe is really in trouble this winter, yeah. Right?
Now, it's okay, though, because Joe Biden promised before the Nord Stream 2 pipeline blew up that he was going to take care of the shortfall caused by the exacerbation of the war in Ukraine with Russia. So Joe Biden promised Europe some of those liquid natural gas supplies that I believe, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong here, is now $7 for liquid natural gas as we record.
Yes, $7 per million British thermal units. However, if you look at the European natural gas prices, around more like $40.
All right, there it is, the Reader's Digest condensed version, Mark.
So yeah, you could go. Obviously, what's happening with the gas that Russia produces at the moment? I'm sure everybody's aware of this, but because Europe isn't buying that gas from Russia, what they're doing instead is they're buying it from China. Now, where does China get its gas from? Russia. So it's going the opposite direction from Europe, and then they're shipping it all the way around, which takes a hell of a lot longer, is a lot less green. In terms of all the tanks and containers that you need to ship that there. And we're paying an absolute premium. But as I say, Joe Biden did say that he would make up any shortfall caused by the war in Ukraine over winter. And I'm sure he's still going to do that until the very last drop of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is gone.
Which portion is going
in
to China, as Mark mentioned.
And if Democrats weren't so ridiculous, Europe would be getting that natural gas from us. But no, we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
And if Europe weren't so ridiculous, we'd be drilling our own natural gas.
I've heard that somewhere before. Anyway. Well, look, this is a mess. Prices on the rise, from cars and trucks to bread and wine, everywhere we look. And now we'll be layering up and turning down the thermostats. Everybody ready for Jimmy Carter by the fireside. Thanks, panel. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform, YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble. We're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, surf on over to libertynation.com. Special thanks to our fantastic editor and post coordinator, Frank Diorio, and our executive producer, Sarah Cowgill. I'm Lisa K. Donner, editor-in-chief. Thanks so much for joining us today. This has been a production of libertynation.com, where truth is making a comeback.